Hey guys, what's up? It's Claude. Today, I'm just gonna give you updated version of my build that I posted in my last video. I ended up watching a YouTube video that my buddy sent me that he literally posted yesterday, and since I was already on this track and kind of playing with these ideas, I just took some inspiration from his build and made some adjustments to, work with Acolyte of Chalua. I'm grabbing a level 80 Jin, and I'm going to hover over all my relics. They're all relic drop, 18%, and there's 9 of them. When you get the boon to increase it by 30%, you have a chance to at least get 4 unique relics at the end of the run. So I like doing this because it's also a way for me to make currency, but also give me an idea of where I'm at after I've made so many changes to my build. So I'm going to show you all of the boons, and I want to show you all my afflictions. The main ones that I think are worth talking about is obviously Ornate Blade. I think, 99% of players are going to run that every run if they can, so I think that's a fair one to have, especially when testing a build. I don't want to have too many variables going into this, especially when I'm, wanting to showcase something. And then for the afflictions, I ended up getting intentionally getting the 50% HP just so we could really kind of see and have a longer fight what the DPS is looking like over, depending on how long it takes. But, obviously more HP equals more time. So here, looking at the map, I'm going directly for pledges. I just think those are the most valuable to me, just because they can give you a wide range of things, but also help you out in a lot of instances. And then also, if they ever have you take certain amount of damage for this is perfect for darkness, just because it goes to the darkness shield. And there's also pledges that can allow you to open up any chest. It just damages you for that on each floor. So I really value that, and yeah. So, and also, if you guys just want to go to the boss content, I'm gonna put a timestamp in the description, and you can just go there and meet you there. One thing I wanted to bring up is that I think chalices or chalice rooms are, maybe the second best for the trial, just because you get free rares, and who doesn't like free rares? If I had to rank anything above it, it would be Hourglass, and below it would be Escape, and then Gauntlet, but specifically on the 4th floor, I actually would flip Escape and Gauntlet, because Gauntlet is just so easy on the 4th. You just have to you have to figure out the puzzle once, and then you can do the puzzle forever. So that's my ranking on those, but don't sleep on the chalices if you had to pick, especially if you're running rarity. Because in most cases, rarities equal divine in people's minds. I'm personally not running rarity just because I think there's so much loot and so much to be had and found after you beat the bosses with the chests and stuff that I don't really care too much about it, but that's just me. So speaking of puzzles, did you catch it? The puzzle in this room is actually a boss mechanic, I guess. So, if you saw what just literally just happened, is I stepped on that little pressure plate, and when you step on the pressure plate, it starts a 6-second timer for you to go back to around that area of when you press the pressure plate. And so what I did was I pressed the pressure plate, pulled the lever, opened up the door, went through the door, pushed the next lever, and then went back to where about I was 6 seconds ago. So luckily we got the room again, so you can see it again. So some things I kind of want to talk about with this build is its DPS is kind of crazy, especially after watching the video with Rutu. So my DPS previously was probably around like 1.5 mil on POV, and after the video, it's like 3.5 or something like that. Is what POV is saying. So it's up to you. You guys can obviously look at all of it in POV. I'm going to put the link in there. If I had to use a term that I kind of figured I learned in PoE community, I don't know if it's actually a term, but I would take this as a ethical build. The reason why I say this is because we're also not using we're not using Hands of Wisdom in action wraps. So this build is not using that. This build is kind of going a different route of crit and crit bonuses and stuff like that. So that's up to you if that's a broken, stat. And maybe it is. But regardless, even if they nerf it, the gloves are what kind of really are helping this build really shine. So if they nerf, because with crit and bonuses and stuff, with Hands of Wisdom in action, like the numbers get really crazy. But then also like, you gotta build differently, and all this other stuff that I am not qualified to talk about. These are just my initial thoughts.
I shall aid you.
I also just like this build because
Onwards.
I'm the type of player
Your
that
will
wants
succeed.
to do hard content and do the boss mechanics, right? Like,
Greetings.
I have done up
Go with
to
strength.
pretty much everything solo except the simulacrum. But I haven't tried the simulacrum since I've made the changes to the build, so I don't know how it'll go now. I'll probably run through it again, or at least like just to see if I can do it solo. But previously, before the changes I've made, I had done all the boss or all of the I guess mechanical in-game content solo up to Arbiter 2, and I couldn't do Simulacrum solo. And so now I'll work on Simulacrum and Arbiter fights to see where I'm at now, and see there. I'm not one-shotting,
Impressive in
uh,
endurance.
you know, the highest tier of content, but in tier one, tier two,
A
it's the
moment
fights aren't
of
real, so
resting.
it's pretty fast and easy. So I'm looking at my afflictions, and I'm like, oh my god, I got the worst one. The when you get an affliction, you get another affliction. So I'm like constantly kind of looking over every time I go in another room because I don't know if it's a bug or not. Sometimes I'm not getting the pop up of like the afflictions I'm getting, but like I'm like constantly looking at it, like all right, making sure I ain't got like a run ending thing. So another thing about this build is the reason why I keep saying POB DPS is specifically because in-game tooltip doesn't account for bonus of arrows. So POB does when you manually input that in there. With the unique dual string bow, I'm currently getting 6 arrows because the bow has 1 on the implicit, and then 4 because of the corruption, and then you automatically are going to shoot 1. The thing I really like about Brutu's build is that he made it so that you can take a hit, right? He really focused on getting more health. And one thing about health is that more health you have, the higher stun threshold you have. So getting stun less, stuff like that. And a lot of things that's killing you is going to be CC mechanics, right? So you can do all the damage in the world, but if you get stunned for 10 seconds and you're just constantly getting hit and can't do nothing, you know, that's something to think about for sure. So what I'm doing now is, since we keep getting gauntlets, I'm posting a screenshot of what my DPS is in base, and then also another screenshot of what the explosion DPS is, just because that's all we really care about. Yes, it's nice to stack the poison, and it is valuable DPS, but we're usually getting a lot of bang for our buck whenever we explode it. So one thing about me is I'm extremely obsessive. I love things that I love, and so the first, literally, this was my first character was monk, and
Greetings.
then I went the Chaluya ascendancy, and I haven't turned back since. I probably went darkness about maybe like 2 weeks in
The
after
choice is made.
I heard about the Secamus trial tech, and so I've been doing that since then, and it's fairly a tech about not getting honor when you're hit, just purely because the same mechanic can happen with the unique flask, the unique life flask, that people are using too. So if you nerf darkness, nerf that as well. But it's pretty much when your HP goes low and you use the unique HP flask, it'll take your health over. It'll overheal you, and then there's a shield that comes before that blocks before your energy shield and your health or your mana, whatever you're using. So people are doing that. They're just using an ability that costs health and then potting, and then you don't take any honor loss from future damage. By future damage, I just mean as long as that shield is up, which is for 10 seconds. If it's up for 10 seconds the whole time and does not, you don't take that excess damage, then it's gonna not lose honor. But right now I'm going to post the end bosses of 1, 2, 3, just so you guys can see how those fights went. Which let's keep it simple. There was no fight. I mainly did this so you could just assume I had every boon that I have currently, because regardless, these bosses are just for, I guess, entertainment purposes, in my opinion.
The forehead is formidable.
Pretty much added that just because I know you guys like to watch things go boom. So what to expect in this fight is pretty much a similar thing. Things to note is this boss is an 80 Jin and 50% more HP. So before we travel to a land beyond time, I must explain a few things to you guys. How has Chaluya been like this the whole time? Who thought of this? How does he know? I have to break it to you guys. I'm a no-life. I only play this game. As you can see by this atrocious screenshot, you could think I played 10%, 20%, 30%, even 50%. But dare you say 100? Dare you say 100%? But this is my time played in this game currently, and I can only imagine it getting way, way, way worse and higher. But I do really enjoy this class and do really enjoy this tendency, and would love to create content for you guys, and would love for you guys to play and enjoy this with me. Without further ado, let's watch the fight.
Onward, always. This battle is
We do take those. Thank you for your reaction, Mr. Sleepy
I
Joe.
shall aid you.
So, closing thoughts. I personally think Darkness, with the help of Mr. Rutu's build and thought process, can actually work and can actually do tier 4 content, especially Arbiter. I'll make some videos in the future about that and what I can get up to, but this is just, less than a day of cooking, and we're already doubling our DPS from before. So, again, if you guys liked it, leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you want, but be sure to be back next time. Have a good day and keep it moving.
Play this build out? It's kind of weird, dude. Sure you want to play this build? Okay, you should definitely play this build. We need to